Yo, walk on. West side, west side, west side. You know I had to say it 3 times, nigga. Nigga, you know what's going on. But nah, man, what you want to say? Gratitude, one love, much love to the earth, the air, the fire, the water. As I'm opening the way with gratitude right now, you know what I'm saying? Right now, I'm in so much gratitude, and gratitude is what I share just in this moment. As I'm in this moment here at my favorite park, you know what I'm saying? How you doing? How you doing? Right? And so, as I start this video, I'm starting it with gratitude. I'm starting it with love. I'm starting it with, the wisdom. You know what I'm saying? The wisdom. Word is bond. And I got some messages, you know what I mean, that I take a note, in between channels and whatnot, based on the collective, and that I want to share regarding this whole 222 energy, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't get to post yesterday, you know what I mean, because I was just 222 turned up, you know what I'm talking about? I was 222 turned up, you know what I mean? And I just didn't get to post yesterday, or I just didn't, it wasn't in me yesterday. Well, I ain't gonna say that. I just didn't do it. But here we are today, and so as of right now, I want to start. We're just talking about the God. You know what I'm saying? The God in you, the God self. You feel what I'm saying? The Godhead, and within that, we understand the abbreviation generator, operator, and destroyer, or we can even put it into a term of action where we're generating, operating, and destroying. You know what I mean? So essentially, I've been coming to different understandings within that, or even seeing how these sort of understandings and terms or whatnot is actually like, being absorbed, you know what I mean, or how they come into, wisdom just in my journey right now. And I can say honestly, the destruction and the destroying of things has been quite the thing, you know what I mean? So when it comes to the illusions, when it comes to the delusions, when it comes to the confusion and anything of the sort, the disillusionment has been really, the call to either break free and walk through, or realize where you already are, so you could get to, navigate better and get into where you are meant to be. And so essentially, the destroying or the destruction is not something so violent. It's not something so volatile, harsh, or hostile, but it's something that is, meant to come down or meant to be broken down, you know what I mean, so that a purification can be held or had, And so this is where, in the generator and operator and the destroyer of things, where you, within that let's say alignment of abbreviation and understanding. And I find personally, like I said, nigga, I've been in the destroyer energy just because not only of my own illusions and confusions, but even with this society and the world of illusion, confusion, and shit like that, I've been also realizing within my own understanding and truth to be more free and recognize why I am free with the choices and things that, I give myself, and at the same time, what I'm sharing upon experience, you know what I'm saying? So not overextending, or not overextending myself, and not just, letting my energy or even letting my mind, my body be used in any sort of way, you know what I'm talking about? And then I go for any and everybody, I feel, collectively speaking, just the sovereignty and the sacredness of the spirit and the essence that you carry in your body, right? That's something that I find is of high value when we talk about where the world is shifting, the shift of the world as we are creating it. And what I really wanted to say was the value of attention, you know what I mean? So what we generate in our thoughts and our emotions and our actions and whatnot based on our consciousness, what we operate, in our frequency and vibration as an energy source, what I'm talking about, that'll definitely, give you a good glimpse as to where you are, what you are, how you are operating, how you vibrate right now. So definitely the generating and operating and the destroying of things, like I said, has been very much, potent, should I just say it like that. And upon meditation today, because I put in a good meditation, and that shit was live, you know what I mean? I love talking about my meditations, but that ain't the point, you know what I mean? Or we'll get into that. So a part of the meditation, one thing that came up in the meditation was the human design, because sometimes I often say generator, operator, and designer, or diviner. Sometimes I might switch up the D word because I feel that it's so many D words or so many words, aside from destroyer, that could still represent the conclusion of the God. You know what I'm saying? So it don't always got to be destruction, or it ain't always destruction as it is. So in this case, the human design and the whole purpose of the human design, and just often what we may not look at in our human design and structure, is often where people go missing. So the human design encompasses what the soul reminds the spirit of what compels the mind to think a thought, and so exists as awareness in awareness self. And that was pretty profound. You know what I mean? Just in my own matrix set of mind. You know what I mean? Overall, I come to understanding that for all the things that we seek, with our mind or in our consciousness, I would say that it is not our mind. It's not that. And I think that'll be a consistent and constant reminder to the many souls, in this human experience, going through a conscious journey and living their life. It'll always be, a reminder somewhere that of what you are not. You are not to absorb or consume or be so attached or taken away or taken away from and into. I don't even know if I said that right. But basically, you don't want to be compromised, by the illusions, delusions, and the confusions of that which you are not generating, operating, and let's say designing and structuring for your own creative sense of self and even reality, right? Because that's what it is. So at this moment in time, the shift that is taking place are for the ones, as in Christ conscious beings, divine lights to rise and shine unapologetically, shattering any and all illusions to be free in the truth one lives and choose to. So, man, and in this, I'm going to just say it like this: free can see. Frequency. You know what I mean? The free can see. Those who choose to be free, those who aspire, freedom and the nature of things, they can see. They can see the unseen. You know what I'm talking about? So this is what's taking place regarding the moment in time, the shift, and all the shit in the paradigm is taking place not only within us, but it's actually for us in the greater, I would say, cataclysmic of events, for us to make the moves necessarily to be in the right time, with the right direction, the right mind, right everything. You know what I'm talking about? So when I say the ones, I'm talking to those individuals who consider themselves like an anomaly, those who consider themselves to be like a Neo in the Matrix. You know what I'm talking about? Those who know that they're the one, and those who have been going through those motions to understand and come to an understanding of oneness, and understand that they are oneness, or they are in oneness, in sync with their higher self, the God, and essentially getting a grip on creating one's own reality. So that is where, later in my text, but that'll go into the choices and the things that we create as a choice of duality or polarity or option to then choose and decide and do what we want to do. You know what I mean? So being free of the will, or freeing up the will, also comes with, let's say, easing up off the gas. You know what I mean? So not allowing yourself to be gaslit, or not gaslighting yourself into any delusions, illusions, or confusions that might have you misusing your energy, or being misused of your energy by others. And that's just where that's where we at. So something I want to say: the amplitude of resurfacing. The amplitude of resurfacing is only going to raise itself higher as consciousness evolves. Nothing stays the same. And this is a quote from a gospel song. Also, it came from C. Freemanel, because I heard him mention it, and because I didn't hear the gospel song on everything, but he mentioned the song, and the song definitely resonated just with the words. And shout out to C. Freemanel. But nothing stays the same. Everything must change. Mysteries unfold, truths untold. And from that lyric, or that stanza, what I got from that was know thyself and show thyself approved. You know what I'm saying? And so as you continue to know thyself, or as you continue on your path of knowledge, wisdom, understanding, generating, operating, and destroying. Shout out to me and my pops. And we was having a good talk earlier just about what I'm about to say right now. As you continue forward on your path of Godhood, the Godhead, the knowing of self, the knowledge of self, the truth expands you as, you know, let's say the knowledge keeps revealing. So you don't just get, you know what I mean, one manifestation or one awakening or one series of, you know, information or knowledge, because I would like to say time don't work like that. You know what I mean? And the spirit don't operate within the construct or the idea of what we think time is here in this particular body and mind. So essentially, information, knowledge of the cosmos, the ancestors, the planets, the elements, all the things, you know what I mean, that exist also in your DNA is going to operate in a consistency and constant of itself on a higher vibration, operating that. So definitely you want to be consistent with the oneness, with the beingness, with the Godhead in you, right? That is consistently operating and doing what one is doing in the generation of sense. We could say it like that, right? And so as one knows thyself, you show yourself approved by, let's say, being self-taught. You know what I mean? So learning from one's own experience as being able to absorb or acquire the wisdom that's necessary for you to grow or transform where needed, right? And so ignite the light within yourself to see yourself through all the bullshit or past the bullshit to go beyond one's own veil. And that's just what, you know, I had wrote from that, because a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, niggas don't ignite themselves, you know. Niggas be having light but not knowing how to spark it, you know what I mean? So that's not good. And so that's where most people, you know, end up self-medicating, or they go venture off into, you know, a group or a church or wherever, because they don't understand, I would say, the significance of their light and what their light encompasses as a wholeness. I want to say it like that, because in the wholeness of the light, you know, we talking about all things of what came from the darkness or the potential, you know what I'm saying? So if you can see yourself, you know, as far as in creation as this particular figuration, in this configuration of your body and mind, then you could get to learn yourself a little bit more, open up to yourself a little bit more, to be able to find what ignites your light aside from the outside shit, you know what I mean, aside from, you know, Walmart and Target, you know what I mean, when you walking in the store and the lights is flashing, it's like, oh, I need more, you know. So to be able to I would say, to be able to reject and release from those things that you need not of, and that would rather cause you to overconsume and be overstimulated, become observant of the body and mind and the experience of what the body and mind is going through in its processing, because energetically, this is how, you know, we're able to shift and command the shift that we're looking for within our own particular thoughts, feelings, and so forth. And so that's just what I want to say on that when it comes to igniting the light, because it's so many ways that you could turn yourself on, or so many ways that you could, let's say, be enlightened or enlighten yourself, whereas you don't want to be limited in the formation that you are in or might not be in. You know what I'm saying? So essentially, nigga, get your shine on. You know what I'm talking about? That's my shit right there. But here we go. So as 222 and the activations of 222, you know what I mean, is I'm just, you know, speaking to the collective. Sex drive, sex appeal, and the sexual energy, the magnetism of the sexual energy is what's very potent right now. I'm gonna say it like that. It's very potent, and can see a great increase around this time, considering the creative stimulation. And so even on the high vibes, you know what I'm saying, as far as like, you know, what the sexual energy could be used for, between, you know, the arts and, you know what I'm saying, and the business, the financial, the dreams, and all the things that one would like to bring, or all the things that one would like to bring into, you know, existence or manifestation. It is rather high in potency when it comes to the ideals, the feels, the thrills, and all of that. You know what I'm talking about? So definitely not being overthrown in the kingdom. You know what I'm talking about, when it comes to the stimulation that your body and mind seems to be calling for via the energy that you are in, of the space and thoughts and things that you think right. And so here we are, just when it comes to what I was going to say, do not get zapped out here, lowering your frequency to fit the narrative of any matrix illusion that underserves you. And so that's some real shit right there. You know what I mean? You don't want to find yourself being underserved, trying to be validated or exist in some sort of world, some society, a relationship, a situation, any fucking thing. You don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want it, and your soul don't want that for you. So yeah, you just need not. You know what I'm talking about? Because in spaces where you are not needed, or spaces where you are not welcome to even wanted, you know what I'm saying, it's how you become liable to your own asset of an energy, as a source, as a creator, as a generator, as an operator. You know what I mean? So you become rather you become food for those lower energies, you know what I mean, that rather feed on attack. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be able to know yourself enough to understand the triggers and the things that that move you, whether in a genuine, pure, positive nature, and the things that move you in a negative nature. You know what I mean? And so whether, let's say, in a desirable state or undesirable state, you got to be able to learn these things when it comes to who you are as a generator, operator, and destroyer. Because essentially, all of these things of which you consist of in your energy body, right? These are things that you are or are capable of producing at the same time of experiencing, whether it be coming from somewhere else or someone else, or it be coming from yourself, and you just maybe not be necessarily knowing. So definitely, to be wise of your higher self and the higher self at this particular moment will keep one, let's say, aligned where they need to be, to not be getting zapped out here. Because, a lot of thoughts, a lot of feelings, a lot of actions and shit that people are, kind of taking, whether uncontrollably or out of control. And you just need not to be that way. So for those that fuck with me, like I fuck with me, and you know what I'm talking about, but no, for those that's in the collective and that I speak to, the ones, y'all know better, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just here, to serve as a reminder to not let up on yourself. And I say that to y'all as I say that to myself, not to let up on yourself and give in to the lower natures or the things that may not be serving you any good, or rather underserving you. So rather staying true to what's to come through you, for you, not outside of you. You know what I'm talking about? So this is where the consistency and the flow of your energy is, where they're calling you to move and shift and do the things you may want to do, but rather it's like, how do you do that? You know what I mean? And some things are not meant for you to know, particularly in the moment. Some things are meant for revelation, are meant to be revealed in the process of being a part of the, let's say, experience. What's up, dogs? How y'all doing? Hey, I know. I love talking. That's right. And so shouts out, man. Shouts out to dogs. I love Anubis. But essentially, as I was saying though, you don't want to stop the revelation from revealing what's for you, whether it be the intuitive guidance, the instructions needed, or whether it be the signs and symbols that indicate, the confirmation of what is, taking place in your life at this moment. So definitely knowing yourself and showing yourself approved by I would say operating knowing, and not just generating thoughts and things and then letting them run all willy-nilly or out of control, and now you out here fake possessing shit. You know what I'm talking about? And so yeah, man, I'm just being thorough about it, man, because it as woo-woo and as spooky as this shit can be or sound, I'm gonna keep it gangster. It's not, and it's not meant to be spooky or woo-woo or anything of the hostile or harshness or something to be so fucking dense and tensed up about. You know what I mean? This ain't that, and that ain't the world I live in and operate in. I don't vibe like that. You know what I mean? So like some niggas say, don't make me nervous. You know what I'm talking about? Because you make me nervous, yeah, it might get like that. And so essentially, this is where you want to check in, with your nervous system and the stimulation of your nervous system, and how, you are rather training your mind and body to operate this cycle around. And this cycle around, because this cycle around is a great one, and it's for the great ones. So shout out to the great ones, you know what I'm saying? And that's some real shit. And so freedom isn't and doesn't have to be radical or enraging, and it can still be free. So freedom is knowing, and I'm just, it's from just how I interpret it. Freedom is knowing you could get away with something, or you could do something and choosing not to, as in not to jeopardize the circumstance of one's current situation, because anything could change at any moment in time. And so this is where you and your own self-awareness has the realization of, let's say, past, present, future, or what could be past, present, or future, just to understand, where you are, how you are, and let's say where you are in authority. You know what I'm saying? Where do you have authority to be able to lead yourself in a better direction for the right time and moment? You know what I mean? And not just, fucking doing dumb shit. You know what I mean? It's just hell, fuck no. Ain't no way, ain't no how. No, nigga, no. And that's just what it is. And I'm saying that from a place of like, just being in my youth, and as a young netter, you know what I'm saying? I would say, with all the shit that I have done, you know what I mean? Freely, it wasn't free, because it all cost something, a circumstance, a scenario, and narrative, and judgment, and bias, and all the shit that come with it, man. You know what I mean? That shit is, let's say, you don't want to become expendable upon things that are not of your own dispense. You know what I'm saying? So, essentially, where you are just kind of doing things, just do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's fair to say. People are finding themselves, especially young black men like myself, people finding themselves or trying to find themselves in whatever, place that they are meant to be in. I understand that. But my whole thing is, before you jump any gun, before you do anything, you know what I mean, take a seat, you know what I mean, sit down, listen, attune yourself, and really ask yourself what it is that you are aiming for in yourself before you just apply yourself to anything that doesn't serve you. You know what I'm talking about? Because if you're applying yourself to places and spaces where you are underserved or where you're not being served, they guarantee you're going to be drained. Man, you're going to be drained of all your energy. And it ain't even like you're going to be drained. You're going to be giving it away. And so by the time you realize you done gave your energy away, you know what I mean? It's like, joke's on you. And, let's say you are not operating justly. I'm going to just say that, you know what I mean? For real. So, where am I at? And then, okay, recognizing where the true vibration is calling you into you for you to experience your greatest self or your greatest self. Do not be fooled by the illusions of success, prosperity, and what appears as spiritual liberation. The Holy Land is where you stand, and the kingdom of heaven is within you. And that comes from my spirit guides, you know what I'm talking about? And so y'all already know the vibes. But that is ultimately speaking to the essence of you and the energy that you hold that says this is serene or this is not, or I'm in heaven or I'm in hell. Only you know what that is for you, because you create those states of consciousness and awareness in your mind, right? And so to not let these ideas of these states to become uncontrollable, to where they're being controlled by something or someone greater than you. You got to realize and know where you are and where you are standing within the Holy Land, but at the same time recognize your current self and where you are as that. And so when you do that, I would say the information and the knowledge of what is or what's to be will open up more, because you're seeing beyond perception alone. You know what I'm talking about? So going beyond perception and the illusion of what perception could bring, just understanding, perception by itself, you know what I mean? And even giving respect to that, or having respect for that, to be able to go beyond it and have, we'll say, understanding of the truth, or a true understanding. And so that's just that, And don't get zapped. That's just another one. But some energy that been coming up, is the crystal energy, man. Seer stones, solar energy, grid energy, and overall, getting into the earth element and working with the grid, but also using, your tools and the elements, a part of that, to raise the awareness and vibration, depending on wherever you might be, within the sphere, So for where I'm at, I would definitely say the crystals have been speaking to me, have been making themselves known, and have been showing up in a multi-dimensional way, in a very aspect of one's higher self, when it comes to just consciousness and the communication of crystals and the experience of a crystal, the information and all the shit that is held within a crystal. A lot of that, has been opening up, not just for me, but for the collective. And I find it is, calling for the ones, who feel called to connect and tap in with their own, crystalline energy. And so I want to speak on seer stones because I find that seer stones are not limited to the seer stones that I suppose Joseph the elder, whomever who came upon seer stones, and those were like the dark black and yellow and brownish type stones. I'm mixing up my words, but overall, I find that when it comes to seeing a stone, having a seer stone, and understanding the purpose of a seer stone and what and what they bring, I find it so much more to the ideal aspect of a seer stone. Like I said, being the black, yellow, and brown sort of I would say prototype, because you could find a crystal anywhere. You could be, in your backyard. You could be, walking through the park. Like I'll be walking through the park. You know what I'm talking about? You could be, walking the crossroad. You could be at the beach. You could be anywhere. And a crystal may stumble upon your journey where, you recognize the crystal and the crystal's recognizing you. And overall, let's say you are in sync and are making a connection via sight or via seership. You know what I mean? And I mean crystals, not just rocks, or not just, gravel or anything like that, but actual crystals. And so this actually happened for me, recently, just in December, where I came upon a stone, and I can't put a name on it as to one name. I could say it's a jasper. I could say it got a different. I could say it's a jasper, a green jasper. I could say it's all sorts of different things, right? But one, not having sourced it from a particular, I would say, gem, you know what I'm saying, or a mine that one knows of, like a quartz mine or like a gold mine or like anywhere, that you just know of as because you know it. What it has been telling me is that this is my seer stone. This is a seer stone, and it is a stone for me to, identify and create and give a whole background and I would say a mythos to, because it has its own seership among my seership, in which it was able to seek me out, or it was able to meet me where I saw it or where I met it, And overall, that catalyzed a whole experience, journey, and storyline between me and this crystal, and the information that I hold and that the crystal holds in itself. And at the same time, it could be coming to absorb information and get information or gather information, whereas like certain crystals certain crystals or certain beings, should I just say, certain beings come into your life for their upgrade and for their learning experience, as for you to teach them or teach it of something, you know what I mean? So essentially, let's say the earth, can gift one a seer stone, or one can be gifted a seer stone via the earth, or, just through the natural causes of things of the earth, and one, discovering things, and essentially a whole, like I say, storyline and journey is then downloaded, uploaded, and integrated into the conscious field of, what would you say, the structure and the magnetosphere and all the other spheres and things. You get what I'm saying? And so essentially, I say that to say because I had a hard time just dealing with, like, you know, understanding what sort of crystal this was. And it was just like, you know what, whether it's a jasper or whether it's another green stone, I can't think of a name right now, but whether it's a green onyx or whatever, you know what I'm saying, then essentially, let's say one can't put a finger on that, but it ain't about that. This stone is my stone for what I see it as and what I make up of it in the visions or the